Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and I know that background report set your mind for the tone or set the tone for today's conversation. Yes, our topic, our focus this morning is on is in keeping FCT clean. Yes, I mean keeping the capital city, Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Abuja clean. If you walk around the city, you find heaps and heaps of deaths in some places, and some places are just so beautiful you want to remain there forever. And we want to know what is the problem? How do we enjoy this general cleanliness in Abuja? What do we need to do? What is the agency tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that compliance with sanitation is enforced or is kept? These and many others are our guest on the program this morning, Mrs. Kate Ogbonna, who is the Director, Environmental Health and Safety of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, will be taking on. You're welcome on the program, ma.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. So, FCT, the cleanliness is your mandate, is your responsibility to see that this beautiful city, as designed, is kept clean and safe for us. Let's look at cleanliness. What exactly do we mean by cleanliness? What is cleanliness? Environmental cleanliness.
Yeah, before I go into what cleanliness means, Abuja Environmental Protection Board's mandate is to ensure that the federal capital city is clean. And that is what we are doing, and that's what we do every day. Clean environment is an environment that is free of nuisance. When I mean nuisance, nuisance is an act of omission or commission. You're supposed to have something and you don't have it. It is a nuisance. And something you are not expected to have it and it's in your environment. It's also a nuisance. So for us to ensure a clean environment must be free of everything called nuisance. Let's say your house, you need to have drainage, you don't have drainage. It is an omission. And because it's an omission is a nuisance. You have used material that you don't want to use them again, and you pack them somewhere within your environment, and they can harbor maybe all these small, let's say, it can harbor pests, vectors, or public health importance. It is also a nuisance. You have flowers. Yes, we want you to plant flowers, but you are not trimming them. They just overgrow. You have trees. They have overgrown to the extent that it wants to push your house or your fence down. It's a nuisance. As far as public health is concerned, anything that is detrimental to one's health that is within your environment is a nuisance. And that type of environment is not a clean environment. But when these things are mentioned now, and more of it are not in your environment is very clean, then we say that you have achieved clean environment.
Okay, so that is what it is to have a clean environment. Okay, how about when you were talking about somebody and his environment. Now, what about the community initiatives as regards keeping the environment clean? Is this something that you also oversight or encourage?
Yes, we encourage community initiative. We call it community-led total sanitation.
Okay.
It is a sanitation that you can achieve. Because if I leave my house to the community to go and clean the environment for them, how long will I do that? It's not possible for me to achieve it. But community sanitation is also carried out by communities. That is why when we go to communities, we work with the head of those communities, the leaders. And the leaders do call the people in charge of different denominations, churches or mosques, so that they will be part of the meeting. We stay there and discuss about community sanitation. We'll organize what we call community sanitation team. Their own is to ensure that every month end, they will ensure that their community is sanitized. What we do, anytime they have such programs, they inform us. So we send our staff to go and see what they are doing. We may not be there every time because we have a lot of communities, but occasionally we do encourage them that anytime they have such programs, they should call us. So that is how we work with the communities. So we see the communities organizing the sanitation by themselves. And because they are the people doing it, they will be able to sustain it. But if you say, let me take a group of people, I'm an NGO, let's say I'm an NGO, because we work with NGOs too. They say, let them go and clean a community. When you clean the community and leave, the community come in the next 1 month. You will be thinking, did I come here? Because the community will go back to what it is. But if you have organized community sanitation group within that environment, you see them achieving it. I know that the communities have problems based on how the places are not planned. They are not planned. That is the major problem we have. For you to achieve a clean environment, the environment must be planned. And if the environment is planned, you find out that it will be easy for trucks to pass through such a community to park waste anywhere the waste is. But because everywhere you are moving from one corner to the other, no space. Occasionally, that is why you see open dump in such communities, because they will have a specific place where they will be allowed to dump their waste. Then our people will go there to service it occasionally. So we really encourage community sanitation because it is the only way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about waste now generally. We know there are two types of waste that your agency, your board is tasked with dealing with. We're talking about the solid and the liquid waste. But one component which is something that we are all dealing with from the global scene down to our local area here, our backyards, as we like to say, is plastic waste. Nylon bags, plastic bottles, and those kind of waste. They take up most of the waste we create now. Now, some time back, there was an initiative to turn waste to wealth, as they said, to recycle, and FCT was in the forefront of this initiative. There was so much that was done. Now bring us up to speed as to what you're doing and how this is being achieved, converting this plastic to reusable items so as to generally reduce the amount of plastics we have to generate as waste.
Yes. To reduce the amount of waste starts from us.
Okay.
The communities, the person using the plastic, the person going to the market, the women or men that go to buy one thing or the other. For you to reduce waste, it is not an easy thing. It needs a lot of sensitization. Because people are used to, when they want to buy this cup, they say put it in a leather. The same shop, you are buying this flour, you put it in another leather. When the leather you used, or the plastic you use for this cup, you can equally use it for this one. But you want everyone to be on his own pack. That's the problem we have. So for what we call recycling is going on. We have people registered with us that have been given the go-ahead to ensure that everything that is recyclable is picked. But the problem they're having is also the way we use them. The way we use our plastic. There's nothing one can see inside the plastic. So that is why this type of people too that are registered with us, they select places like hotels, offices, places that they know that they can get clean plastic. They also have people, we have people that go home house to house because we have pilot projects that are ongoing. We have people going from house to house, all those houses, They don't just collect their plastic without giving them
A little
a little token.
Okay.
So we encourage people that plastic you want to give to them, you must package it well. It is not going to be like a mixed waste. You must separate your waste. By so doing, we are also reducing what we go into the our landfill or our disposal site.
We've been talking about keeping the Federal Capital Territory clean, and my guest, Mrs. Kate Ogbonna, has been telling us from the perspective of her agency, that is the agency tasked with the responsibility of keeping Abuja FCT clean, her experiences, what she feels we need to do, and some of the things that constitutes that here in the Federal Capital Territory. But we'll take a short break. When we come back, she's still here in the studio with us, and we'll be asking her a few more questions before we let her go. Remember, the program is Good Morning Abuja, and it's here on NTA Abuja Channel 5, the Unity Station. Stay with us.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
We celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
Jama'a barkanmu da wannan
The Unity Station, NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Welcome back on the program, and we still have Mrs. Kate Ogbonna in the house. And Mrs. Kate Ogbonna, as I told you earlier, is the Director, Environmental Health and Safety of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board. It's good having you in the studio, Ma.
Thank you.
Now, your board, you've shared with us that you're responsible for Abuja's cleanliness. Are there challenges you have in executing your mandate?
Yes, there is no work without a challenge.
Okay.
We have challenges. Number one challenge that we have are the human beings in FCT.
Okay.
FCT residents. It is their duty to ensure that FCT is clean. It is not Abuja Environmental Protection Board that will clean FCT per se. The individuals living in different homes, it is their duty to clean their environment. When you clean your environment, it is the duty of Abuja Environmental Protection Board to ensure that the waste generated is evacuated
okay.
and disposed. So, but occasionally, they don't want to ensure that the environment is clean. The work we do on a daily basis as environmental health officers is to ensure that we move from place to place. And people also bring complaints to us. Occasionally, to solve that problem, we need a lot of meetings within the neighborhood before we can solve the problem. Just that your neighbor is living maybe upstairs, you are living downstairs, and his liquid waste is leaking into your house. Because he's living upstairs, he would not care what is happening to you. You will preach and preach and preach before he will go and fix that pipe that is leaking. To clean the environment, especially in the high-rise environment, is a problem where they cannot come together. That is why in those days we have what we call a sort of leadership in all these high-rise environment buildings, because that leadership helps us to ensure that they will come together to ensure that the environment is clean.
Any final words before we go?
Yes, I want to use this opportunity to encourage residents of FCT that clean environment is a healthy environment, and it is not the duty of Abuja Environmental Protection Board per se to ensure that these environments are clean. It's the duty of everyone that is residing in FCT to ensure that the rules and regulations of FCT on clean environments are kept. And by so doing, you find out that all of us will live in good health. So when you go back home, look at your house. Do you have things that you don't need? Remove them so that it will be evacuated by environmental. Do you have overgrown trees that you don't need? Come to environmental, right officially. They will help you and cut down overgrown trees. Do you have flowers that are unkept? You have to ensure that you keep your flowers clean, cut overgrown grasses, work on your pipes, soil pipes. We call it soil pipe. That pipe carrying wastewater and water from your toilet, work on them so that your neighbors will live in good health and you will equally live in good health. Are you moving on the street? Ensure that while you are moving on the street, you are not throwing waste in unauthorized places. Are you driving? Ensure that you are not throwing waste from your car to our streets. You know, look at your drainages. Ensure that you clean them. Let your drainage be clean. So that as we are even talking about flood, the water will be able to find its course to the nearest stream that is near by your house and you will not experience flooding. And two, don't build in a floodplain environment. By so doing, I pray that all of us will live in good health. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. And those were the words of advice to residents of the FCT on keeping FCT clean, keeping the environment clean. We'll go take a short musical now. And when we return, Good Morning Abuja continues.